Harvard hires drag queen named Lahore Vagistan as visiting professor. Well. Is she talking about Lahore? No. Harvard, Lahore. What a disgrace Harvard is. I mean, at what point do we burn Harvard to the ground and start over? A white man's creation. This is white erasure of our norms. White erasure of our norms, white erasure of our people at an institution that we built that was 100% white when we built it, that was 100% white when we stocked it full of the worthwhile information, when it used to produce, it used to take the white population. Why should it take anyone else? I'm serious. Everyone who is not white that gets into Harvard should be kissing the hand of every white person, metaphorically. Thank you for letting me in. This was what you all built. This is what you all did. Thank you for letting me in. The gratitude. Instead, the population of white males, and in particular, the population of whites in generally, plummeting below our percentage of the population of a country that we used to operate, that we used to control. Every place in the West looking the exact same way. And this is what anti-whiteism does. Do you think that Lahore Vagistan, do you think that, I mean, and it sounds to me like Lahore here needs a lot of loomy, gonna need some loomy in those parts, especially because those female parts, for some reason on this particular female, are on the outside of the body. How would you like, just wait, and that's what they'll be saying. Oh, that's not a penis. You see, that's an external vagina. That's what it is. That's an external vagina. You need to appreciate it as one. Just imagine. That's where we're going. So here you have this foul creature, in my opinion. Of course, I'm sure he or she, or I don't even know. We got to get into the article to find out exactly what it calls itself. But do you think that they installed Lahore, the whore? Though I bet you that's like the really accurate thing about this person. Can you imagine? They did not install this person to be an affront to Jews, to be an affront to blacks, to be an inversion of Arab norms, to be an inversion. You think they put Lahore into this position to be an affront to Arabs, to be an affront to Asians? No, this is white erasure. This is to be an inversion of our norms, what white people believe are male and female, and how they should present. And so this is, and then they go to our institutions, whether it's our institutions of learning or institutions of religion. They go to these places where they can inflict the most harm, the most affront. That's where they go, where it is white. And that's what's happened to Harvard, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Kubahanda Kandi is perhaps best known for his stage name, Lahore Vagistan. So he comes in there to be a professor, and maybe comes is a bad word for that, comes in there to be a professor at Harvard as his stage name, a persona that the academic has made an integral part of their pedagogy. I'm sure. Yeah, you go dig that word out of there for teaching. All right. Look at that. In an interview, so obviously Harvard, all of these institutions are captured by anti-whiteism. There's no taking them back. There's no climbing up through. There's no getting them all fired. The only path to the recapture of these institutions, of the church, of our lodges, of our city councils, etc., is to supplant the social morality of the West. And that is what Go Free does. It's winning. It just won at this place of employment. Even the executives got in on it and said, what? The heck? We can fix this, and we're going to fix this. This is being done by this community. It works. No more conversation about it. This is what anti-whiteism produces. This interesting person should be, I don't know, selling feathered caps in San Francisco or something, whatever. Selling feathered berets and saying, not in higher educational institutions, especially Ivy League, but nowhere, in my opinion. This individual is there because it's an affront to our sensibilities. In an interview with his own drag persona published by Johns Hopkins University Press, we were talking about decades ago how all of these institutions, Ivy League universities, etc., before they had this many visible affronts to our sensibilities, so that even midwits and midgewits can look at it and say, holy God, that's, even when they were still presentable. We were telling people that you couldn't look to these entities anymore for leadership, for guidance, for what's legitimate. You couldn't look to it anymore because they had been captured by anti-whites. You couldn't give your heart and loyalty to these institutions because they had been captured. Do you want the alumni, the white alumni, to turn against places like Harvard, places like Princeton, etc.? Do you want them to turn against it? The only way to get them to turn against it is to supplant the moral imperative in the West, which is the anti-white immoral imperative, this social morality. Supplant it, displace it with the white positive moral imperative, which was just demonstrated in this massive business and demonstrated so many other times, and will continue to be demonstrated. If you supplant it with this white positive morality, you can recapture our destiny. You can take these entities back. Lost Pilgrim's Journey says the unfit are outbreeding. It really doesn't matter. They could be, I get your point, and I agree, but they could be producing less. They could all be having abortions. And there's still going to be the anti-white immoral imperative in society that will turn your white children into anti-whites. This is why I've always argued that more children won't help us. Not yet. Not yet. And besides, the white race did things that the world has never seen, achievements that the world has, in my opinion, has never even fathomed, with a tiny population compared to the number we have today. So we don't need more people. What we need is the morality, and then we win. The other problem is, even if all the anti-whites, white and every other race, were aborting every single one of their children, which they're not, and even if they weren't turning most of your white children into anti-whites, all of your white children into anti-whites of various degrees, even if they weren't doing that, they have the borders open. There's no competing with the numbers of people on planet Earth. You can't have enough kids. So no, I totally get what you're saying, and I agree with you. But far more important is this ideology, this morality that has to supplant and replace the social morality we are suffering under. Namely, let's stroll up the Miss. This is Ms. Vagistan. My name is Lahore Vagistan. Can you just imagine? This thing will be doing commercials in the next 5 years. This one or just like it, for feminine products. You watch. We don't supplant the anti-white immoral imperative. No worries. This thing will be doing commercials for and being paid big money for it. My name is Lahore Vagistan. My preferred pronouns are she or auntie. Isn't that sweet? Auntie. I choose Lahore because my family traces its origins to Pakistan, where Ms. Lahore here would go over real well. I promise you. But in Pakistan, I wonder why you're in a Western country. And well, I'm a bit of a whore, the drag queen said. You don't say. And Vagistan, because this is the kind of thing that conservatives, the cucks will look at, and they have our whole lives, and they'll laugh and they'll point and they'll say, make a meme out of it. Oh, it's funny. Well, we've been laughing and snarking our way from much healthier decades behind us. Every decade back is healthier than the one in front of it. Every single one. And what has been present the entire time is conservatives doing two things and misleading our population with those two. Either laughing at this sort of thing primarily, or turning it into an abstraction. And as an abstraction, it fits into the category of, well, let's listen, let's love them, let's forgive them for their slights against us, let's embrace them. No, I don't embrace poison. Maybe you want to drink poison, maybe you want to ingest venom, but not healthy people. So we're not hearing that shit anymore. Look at what's happened to our churches. They've been ingesting the anti-white venom for generations. And now look at them. They've got anti-white flags flying out front. They've got female preachers and priests and deacons. And they're teaching that this is what God wants. Because someone can think anything that they can imagine and envision. This kind of thing that used to be quarantined in the holiday of Halloween, since they can think it at any point of the year, then it's obviously what God wants. I don't think so. It's the exact opposite. I know so. Vagistan will teach just 2 classes over the course of 2 semesters, I guess, to begin with, right? Because maybe you remember, take a look at this professor. Isn't he cute? Isn't he pretty? Let me put him big up. Look how pretty he is. Yo, I'm in my 6-inch heels. That's what class is for. Now, what is class for? Oh, look, now he's going to do the hoe walk, I guess. Unreal. A classroom is supposed to be stoic. A classroom is supposed to be a place where by various means of education, stoic compared to that, various means of educating white youth build upon our ancestors. They build upon what white people before them, brothers and sisters, have figured out so that we can continue our drive of mastery over ignorance, mastery over that which seeks to destroy us, mastery over the universe, the environment, mastery over those things, because that is what our spirit compels us to do. That is the thing that draws the white race more than anything, is to be like our Creator himself, acquire all of this knowledge, the known of the unknown, conquering that which seeks to conquer us, whether it's a people, an idea, a disease. That's what class is supposed to be for. It's supposed to improve. They've done the exact same thing. Anti-whites have done the exact same thing with the classroom that they did with art. What we refer to as art, they did the exact same thing. It is an abject, revolting inversion of what our biospirit calls us to define, to name and define those things as, and to give those things an objective in space and time. It's an inversion. So now the classroom, where you are supposed to, and this in the highest levels of learning, where you're supposed to be showing up, learning what those who have come before you have done, and climbing up on their shoulders to take it a step further, preserving what has come from the past, so that those who come after you can do the same, so that our lives can be better, so that we can be happier, live longer, live healthier, live safer, so that we can have all of these amenities, so that we can have all of these conveniences. That's where that's supposed to be taking place. Turned now on its head, and it has become a fucking whore catwalk for these pompous, showy anti-whites. That's what it's becoming. This is absolutely celebrated across the West. This is, and we're not celebrated. There are millions of white people that will tolerate this as though it's just one classroom over here. Bill, Bill, don't talk too loud, Bill. Don't talk too loud. It's just one classroom. It's just, bitch, shut up. Zero that they are allowed to be an affront to our biospirit. It's just one. It's just one. And now it's almost all of them. So it begins with queer ethnography, which, by the way, for the longest time, conservatives would laugh about all of these classes that anti-whites were getting degrees in. They would laugh about all of the things like queer studies and equality studies and all of this kind of garbage. Equity studies. Where are they going to get their job from? Huh? Where are they going to get their job? Nobody has a job waiting for them. They're just going to have debt. Well, they got jobs, didn't they? The businesses made entire departments to hire them. And they also got your job with that degree. Oh, yeah, but you needed an accounting degree? Doesn't matter. They still got your job with their queer studies degree. The latter class will apparently focus on the cable television show RuPaul's Drag Race. And that's Harvard for you. It's another street down there in San Francisco. Just another street down there in San Francisco. This would be a giant trade school or a series of trade schools. It would be run by Harvard, the president told reporters in the Oval Office. So this is the thing. Does it mention here or not? Yeah, it does. News of Vagistan's new gig emerged just days after Trump unfroze $2.5 billion, our dollars, for more of that garbage. In my opinion, our dollars funding that. Time to freeze it again. Time to freeze it again. You have these anti-whites that will talk about, and Trump was saying, it should be like a whole slew of trade schools to teach people how to do the jobs that the businesses of today and tomorrow need them to be able to do. That's not happening. And you're not going to be able to get away with, we'll freeze it for now. They say what needs to be said. You give them the money, and then this ends up happening. There are going to be more professors, a lot more, telling their truth, swinging their vaginas right there in classroom. You watch, I promise you. But this is what you get as a consequence of anti-whiteism. And if you don't address that social morality of anti-whiteism, you'll continue getting this. Remember all of the predictions of the conservatives out there about what would happen with these institutions. So people will just stop going, and businesses won't be able to hire all of these people. They won't have jobs, and they won't be able to get, and on and on. And so therefore it'll have to change as a consequence, because people are going to make economic decisions about going to university. And if they can't get money on the other end, if they can't get a job on it, they just won't go. Did it work out that way? Did it work out that way, conservatives? Time to stop ignoring race when race will never stop ignoring you. Why don't